Jay here from Stretford, Paddock. This is it. This is the big one. Manchester United versus Everton in the Premier League. This preview is brought to you by BetMate, the fantasy football app. We'll be getting into that a little bit later on. Joining me, a bit of a change than usual. We've got Mark Dempsey, an Evertonian, but he's all right, he's my mate. So he's going to be giving us the views about the Toffees and just what this game means to them. Now, United, I've had a bit of an erratic period of late. We obviously had the game at Anfield, we don't need to get into. Disappointing result at St James's, another disappointing result against Southampton. Got back on track slightly against Brentford. But at Old Trafford now, I'm looking at this game and I'm thinking, no disrespect, Everton at home, we should be winning this one. A draw for either team does nothing. Certainly not for Manchester United. Well, I'm going to ask you about what it does for Everton. But for United, it has to be, for me, a win because the top four race has opened up. Spurs are still in the convo. Newcastle have leapfrogged over us. And I think you look at this game against a team that is struggling near the bottom at home, where our record has been really good this season. You think, you know what, I can't imagine anything other than a draw, or other than a win, sorry, get that right, other than a win. And anything less than a win would be massively disappointing. From an Everton point of view, would a draw be a positive for you because it's a draw at Old Trafford, or do you think because it's so tight at the bottom, you actually need to go for it and get a win?
No, I think a draw I'd take definitely. I think we've won once at Old Trafford in the past, well, however long it was, Brian Oviedo in the last minute. Right. So, and that's even when we were doing well. So I think a point anywhere on the road at the moment, I think our focus is win our home games, get as many points away from home as possible. So a draw I'd take. I don't think we're not basing our season, we're not going to get relegated if we don't get anything from this. I think there's other games in there that we've got Wolves away, we've got Leicester away, Palace away. They're the games I'm thinking, right, if we can get a win away from home there. So I think, yeah, from history, a point we'd definitely take. And like it's so close at the bottom that, a point at a place like Old Trafford is huge. So I'd take a point right now.
No, I hear what you're saying, I do, and I think that the worry I have, I still feel sort of cautiously optimistic, especially with our home form and the fact that, as you mentioned, Everton are struggling for a reason. But Sean Dyche in the past has been able to get those results. He has been able to grind out. We've seen it when he was at Burnley. He actually won at Old Trafford at Burnley as well. But he had a relatively decent record as well for getting a point. So that does worry me slightly. One sort of positive I can take going into any game is the former Marcus Rashford, who's been absolutely on fire this season. The stats are he's got 15 Premier League goals in 28 appearances for the club. He's got 3 assists as well. I mean, he's banging in the goals. He's causing problems. He's getting behind defenders. He looked he had a little bit of a quiet spell sort of over the last few weeks, but against Brentford, he looked back to his best, took a goal as well, a well-taken goal. Is Marcus Rashford, you look at, because I'm looking at it from a United point of view and thinking, if we're going to get some out of this game, we are going to win. I think Marcus got something to say about it, and I think he will. Do you look at him and go, he's someone who worries me? Yeah,
definitely. I think he'd probably be on the left, won't he?
Yeah, I think so. He played down the middle against Brentford. We shuffled it slightly. Weghorst drops out. There's possibility that Martial comes back in, or he gives Weghorst a start.
Not Martial.
Martial, who loves a goal against Everton, doesn't he? He absolutely loves it. And you'll be pleased to know I'm not going to bring up the semi-final because I'm better than that.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
But if Marcus does, he's great down the middle, but his preferred position is probably on the left.
Yeah, I think this season's been pretty sensational for him. I think watching him, the goals he's been scoring as well. I don't who's it you've got in to help him? Was it
Benny McCarthy?
Benny McCarthy, yeah.
He's been getting a lot of praise from United fans, and rightly so, because we don't know what goes on.
Know what he does.
You can see that this attacking coach has come in, and since he's been there, Marcus Rashford has been scoring goals, and Marcus Rashford's praised him as well.
Yeah, and it might be the little things. It might be saying, just do a bit of this, or have a little of a nudge here, or so, the little tiny things. So I do fear him, and I think if it was 6 months ago, I'd be like, if it's Seamus Coleman down that side, I'd be worried. But I've got it. Seamus Coleman, 34, he's been class.
Yeah,
class this season. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, because I can imagine Coleman's really invested in Everton, and I think that's what we're seeing right now is we're going to be fighting. So I do still worry about Rashford, because out of the team, he's the one that, for example, against Brentford, he came up with the difference in the end. Yeah. And I think that's something that he's really taken responsibility for this year. And yeah, definitely a player that I'll be looking at and be a bit worried about. Same with Anthony, because he did score against us. I think he's got a bit of flair about him, haven't he? Against Ben Godfrey, I think that's all right, because I think Godfrey's got the pace and it might scare him a bit. Depends if he's up for it. But Rashford's definitely the player in that team. I'm just buzzing that Casemiro and Eriksen aren't in it for this one. When I was at the game, United, when you came to Goodison, and I just saw Casemiro do Casemiro things, and it was I haven't watched a lot of Madrid, outside of Europe and seeing him play, because all the pundits say, no, he's not this, he's not that, and I watched it. I was like, yeah, that guy's sensational. So I'd rather play Rashford than Casemiro. I think if I could pick.
Really?
Yeah, because I think what Casemiro brings is the fight and the team spirit, which I think maybe Dyche's Everton could get above United in this game.
No, I hear you, I do, and it's a shame that he is suspended again. And like I say, I think Eriksen's back in training. I don't think he's going to be fit for this game, but hopefully we can get him towards the business end of the season. I'm going to go through my predicted team here. This is my United team. This is who I think Erik ten Hag will go with, and I'll explain it. David De Gea in goal, obviously. The sort of the back five there is pretty obvious. Wan-Bissaka I don't think has been fit, so I've kept with Diogo Dalot. I know there's a bit of a debate going on at the minute, Mark, with United fans whether it should be Wan-Bissaka or Dalot, but Wan-Bissaka's not been fit, so that's a bit of a moot point, although maybe he might be in contention. I've stuck with the same midfield that we've had in the last couple of games with McTominay, Sabitzer and Fernandes. Obviously you mentioned there about Eriksen and Casemiro not being available, so that's why that's that midfield. Now up front I've gone with Rashford on the left, Anthony on the right. Now I've gone with Weghorst down the middle. Now a lot of people may be going, why do you think that Erik ten Hag's going to pick Weghorst when he's dropped him? Weghorst was struggling. Well, Weghorst has played nearly every game. He's only recently been dropped. I thought Sancho did okay against Brentford, but at times I think he does look a little bit leggy. I still think there might be something going on there fitness-wise. He doesn't seem to play consistently. He doesn't start consistently, Jadon Sancho. And I don't think Anthony Martial is ready to start. I saw him against Brentford. He came on. And there was a couple of times. There was one time when Marcus broke down the right-hand side. And Martial was running down the middle. Now, Martial, as you know better than anyone, is fast. He's a quick player. And I could see he was struggling to keep up with Marcus Rashford. Marcus sort of ran and then had to hold it up a little bit because he wasn't keeping up with him. Now, normally those two are on the same level. And I still think Anthony Martial is getting match fit. So I've gone with Weghorst. I think he'll get the nod. And also, just as a side caveat, Everton, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but you have got players who've got a bit of height, and you've got one or two players who can get their head on things, and set pieces, things like that, and just challenging in the air. I think having Weghorst in the team kind of makes sense, just having that bit of physical presence. Yeah,
if you've got Tarkowski, Keane, and Nana in the box, and you need the help you can get, especially with Martinez, is a bit obviously not denying he's a great defender, but if you've got, and that's what we'll try to get. If we get a corner, we'll be up for it.
I think we have to consider that. That's why I think Weghorst will get the nod. Do get involved in the chat and the comments and let us know what you think about that predicted team. Do you think Martial's going to start? Do you think he'll stick with the same 11 that played against Brentford? So we'll see Jadon Sancho get the start as well. I want to talk about Everton. Under Sean Dyche, you've been doing quite well. Obviously, you got that point against Spurs, and I was cheering that because it did us a big favour. Looking at your recent results there, the draw against Spurs, draw against Chelsea, again, another good point there. Winning over Brentford, draw against Forest, the loss against Arsenal, which, losing away at the Emirates is not exactly shameful.
Yeah.
I know, obviously, the manner of defeat wasn't great, but it's been a decent spell under Dyche.
100%. I think, obviously, that hindsight's a massive thing, and, I think Frank Lampard, he was out of his depth in the kind of situation of Everton. I'm sure he could be a good manager. We'll have to see what he does at Chelsea. But Dyche has come in, and he's come into a club that's in a mess financially. I was nailed on thinking, we'll at least get a striker in, because everyone's been saying all year, if we can't rely on Calvert-Lewin, we've let Rondon go, and other than that, it's Neil Maupay. So he's come in, but he's not complained. He's just gone, right, this is who I've got. And to really lack that firepower or someone up top, I think most teams around us have someone up there.
Yeah.
Someone to kind of like get a few goals, like Brennan Johnson at Forest. Like, he's had kill for a player like that right now.
Yeah.
So I think to deal like what he's got to come in, win against Arsenal, like the manner of that win was just huge. And like every game we've been in Dyche now, we've been in it for 90 minutes. Like the Arsenal one was a bit of a blip. There was a mistake. There was Idrissa Gueye just stood still, and they're the league leaders. And then Villa we lost, but again, we just needed someone to tap the ball in, and they did. We didn't, but we felt like we were in every game. Yeah. Chelsea, for example, in the past, 1-0 down, I was like, oh God, like it would have been a 1-0 for us, I think, but we got back into it. They scored again, and then Ellis Sims comes on, and we got it. We've got that belief. So we've got that belief, which I think now I look at every game thinking, well, will we get a result? Don't know, but we'll get a performance. Yeah. Which I think under Lampard, he didn't have that. He doesn't have that experience to really get it out of the players. Like the amount of players who've, like Dwight McNeil's been leaps and bounds above what he was at the start of the season, because obviously he knows Dyche, he does the work, and as fans we react to that. We react to the big tackles. I think Harry Kane was the reason we scored. Yeah. Because he was on the ground for about an hour. we got really annoyed at that.
Well, there's that. No, going back to that Spurs game, you're right. You were fighting, and when you went down to 10 men, you kept going.
Yeah.
You had a better team. I know they had Lucas Morris sent off late doors, but that was only 2 minutes ago, whatever. You'd been the better team. Sort of post the penalty, post the red card. Which was open, wasn't it? And
which
is is like you said, was something lacking with Lampard. Obviously, Michael Keane got the goal. Ex-United player, he knows where his bread's buttered. I cheered that goal like it was a United goal. To be fair, he's got a goal and an assist this season. That's not his job to do that, but just some stats for you. I want to talk to you a little bit about BetMate. So if you don't know, this podcast or this preview is sponsored by BetMate. BetMate is the fantasy football app. Now, it's not just you playing against the bookies. You can play against friends as well and against other people. And this weekend, there's a Man United versus Everton game, and it's £5 winner where you can win a share of a £500 pot. Sign up for any paid pot. You get a £10 free bet when you use the code Paddock10. There's a link in the description. So in addition to this as well, there's also a £1,000 pot to predict the correct full-time result of all the Premier League fixtures this weekend, which starts with obviously United versus Everton, because that's the early kickoff. So we've all been doing BetMate stuff. I've won some money. Joe Smith won a load of money. He's not stopped banging on about it. Also, as well, the good thing about BetMate, it's powered by Opta-Stats, and it's not just goals and assists. It's also interceptions, tackles. You played it before, haven't you? Because you were with us for the World Cup, and you were picking up on the fact that you were getting points for things like tackling and stuff. So it matters who you put in your team. So we'll have a look at your team first, Matt. Let's have a look at yours. Obviously, bit of a change this time around because we've got an Evertonian on, so it's quite heavy with the opposition. You've got in there one player I want to talk about, Demarai Gray. He's a decent player for me because he's a player that I always worry about. Yeah,
he's got that, and I think since he's come in, 1.5 million, which for Everton's kind of money spending, that's brilliant.
That's ridiculous, by the way. In this day and age.
Any player of that level, he's a really good kind of... I was worried when Dyche came in because he started with Mopé, and you thought, where's Gray coming in because he doesn't run back? But he's put him up top and obviously told him, do your running, and he has, and he's been brilliant. And I think, he's always a threat. In the cup against United, he was the guy, the outlet that caused a lot of problems. So, I've got him in the team, and like I said, he's one of them players. We don't have a lot of players who can beat the man, who have that arrogance. And I think he's got that, and seeing the work rate as well now, he's becoming like the player that I think a lot of people thought they had at Leicester, and he had a bit of a few bumps, and he was a bench player, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
But now he's he's got a good delivery on him as well. He'll be important for our running to get a few goals, and he could be the difference. It could be someone who can just get us on the break, up the pitch, and win a corner or get a goal himself.
No,
so that's why he's in there.
Definitely, he was. I always noticed him at Leicester. He turned up against United. He might not always get a goal or assist, but he always causes problems. So I understand why you've gone with him, and the other players as well make sense. You can have 6 players from one team, so I've gone with 6 United players. I've got Bruno Fernandes as my captain. I've got Alex Iwobi as vice captain there. I may change that, and I can change that right up until 5 minutes before kickoff. So if you get the team news and you think, hang on a minute, I've got players in who haven't started, don't worry, you've got right up until kickoff, 5 minutes before kickoff to change it. I felt a bit sorry, we were talking earlier for a role, but he got injured at Old Trafford and everyone booed him when he got stretched off in the cup.
I was up there, I thought he broke his leg.
Which I thought was a bit harsh, I'm not going to lie to you. But I've got Marcus in there, I've got Bruno Fernandes in my captain. I think Bruno could do something against Everton. A big fan of Bruno Fernandes. So make sure you are checking out BetMate. There's a link in the description. Don't forget as well, if you enter any paid game using the code Paddock10, you get a £10 free bet as well. And have a look as well at the 1,000 pot to predict the full-time results too. We'll move on to score predictions. Give us your score prediction. Be honest. You don't have to, sugarcoat it, which I know you won't because you're on a United preview. What do you think the score's going to be?
1-1.
1-1.
Yeah,
that'll be like a defeat to us, I'm not gonna lie. If it's 1-1, I'm already dreading the fact that Michael Oliver's refereeing, but I won't go into that one. But yeah, 1-1. It was 1-1 last time in the Premier League. That was when we started to unravel, last season, because Martial started, Ronaldo got dropped. There was all this sort of controversy about Ronaldo not starting, and it just felt like a bit of a moment and it turned out it was. No, I'm gonna go with. We're not scoring a lot of goals lately. I'm gonna go with another 1-0. I think this might be a tight game. Sean Dyche's team knows how to defend. I think it is going to be a bit of a battle, which you would expect from a team like Everton, also fighting for those in a relegation dogfight. But I think we'll have enough to get over the line. So very predictable. I'm going to go with 1-0 Marcus Rashford. Don't forget, you can get involved as well. So make sure you film yourself in landscaped. 30-second score prediction, send it to paddockmatchday@gmail.com, and we'll use that as part of our pre-match build-up. Mark, always a pleasure. Where can people find you?
Twitter, Mark Dempsey _.
Yeah, make sure you're checking him out. You know where to find me, Jay Motty. Go and check out BetMate as well, the fantasy football app. There's a link in the description. That's been Mark. I've been Jay. This has been the Everton preview. Thanks for watching.